everyone, welcome to Sunrise Extra. Sorry we're starting a little bit later this morning. If you're watching us live, we've been having a little technical problem, but hey, we fixed it. Today is a big topic. There have been some developments this morning as I kind of pull up the feed so we can watch your live comments, because this is a big one. We're getting a lot of them already. Yep. We asked the question, would withdrawing federal troops from downtown Portland kind of help calm the protests? We have gotten, what was it, Brenda, 270 almost?
267, yeah.
Comments?
Yeah, and a bunch of shares.
This morning on that question. And we want to bring in a live picture, if we can, from photographer Eric downtown at Chapman and Lounsdale Squares, where, what time would you say that started?
5:30.
5:30, okay. So 5:30, Portland police came in and started moving everyone out of those two parks. Now look at all this stuff as the pigeons are like, oh, we can finally get to the grass.
Look at the grills there in the background.
Yeah, we saw probably like 10
barbecues.
Lounge chairs, there's a Weber right there, there's a sleeping mat, there's tents, I mean, there's full coolers, eating. We saw like riot ribs, some food truck style folks feeding protesters there. There's the umbrellas we've seen many protesters use as kind of defense shields against gas and canisters.
You said somebody was selling t-shirts down there.
I saw an article about a guy who came up from LA selling, I mean, this was like a concert. The guy was selling t-shirts for like $20 with George Floyd's picture on them, other people cooking food. So there you see Portland police. They moved everyone out. We did see one guy taken away in handcuffs, but as of last check before that, Portland police say they had not made any arrests. But I want to show you, and maybe our producers can pull up what we call the MISC. So I can show you this tweet this morning from Mayor Ted Wheeler, who kind of explains what happened. So he says this morning, Portland police will be working with Portland Parks and Rec, Multnomah County, and outreach workers to clear the park. This is at the request of state police as part of the plan for federal officers to leave our community. Guys, this has been so confusing with mixed messages. Yesterday, Governor Kate Brown coming out with a huge announcement saying, hey guys, I talked to the White House, I talked to the feds, they're going to start leaving tomorrow. Then, like a second later, Chad Wolf, the acting secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, says, we're not going anywhere. We're staying until you in the state get control of securing this federal courthouse. Donald Trump weighing in now this morning. Let's go to Twitter again. The president saying Kate Brown, governor of Oregon, not doing her job. She must clear out and in some cases arrest the anarchists and agitators in Portland. If she can't do it, the federal government will do it for her. We will not be leaving until there is safety. So I know you guys want to talk about this. Drew, Brenda, you want to share some comments we're getting?
We have many viewers right now. I can tell you, as we keep an eye on these kind of things every day, the number of people watching live right now far greater than it has been in recent mornings. So this is a heavily debated topic. And
while you're talking, why don't we throw up that live picture? It's more interesting than seeing our faces for sure.
Excellent.
Go ahead.
Most images are in that respect. So let's start with Tammy. She says, it wasn't calm prior to the Fed showing up, so I doubt it will be calm afterwards. We can only hope, though, she says. Again, the question we asked point blank this morning was, do you think that the situation in downtown will become more calm if federal agents were to leave? Howie chimes in next saying, leave them there. Robin says, I do not. They were rowdy and destructive before. They will continue to be so afterwards. Joseph Duval takes it a step further saying, I think the day those federal agents pull out from the federal courthouse, it will burn to the ground, and then they will go after local police stations, and these folks only want to see an end of rule of law. A lot of people saying they don't think the situation will get better. They think the situation will get worse. At least that's the reaction I'm seeing early on the live Facebook live stream right now for Sunrise Extra. I would read the other side if I could find a comment that said the opposite.
I do think there are some there, but I'm with you. I'm seeing lots of, like Brandy Gregg. She says Trump nailed it. And then Pat Ellis says, I don't think removing federal troops is going to make any difference. Someone needs to do something. This is totally out of control. Kathy Tompkins, please stay. Oregonians have a worthless governor. Sign the recall.
Okay, Ryan Moon gives us the opposite perspective. And listen, I'm not saying I'm pulling for one perspective or the other. I just was hoping to share both sides this morning. Ryan Moon, that is, gives us the other side. He says, I think it would be the opposite, actually. Protesters act like adults. Feds leave.
Mm-hmm. And, I mean, a lot of... I mean, the numbers of people downtown at this site were kind of dwindling before the feds were brought in July 4th. There was still, after 11 p.m., it seemed, night after night, leading up to when the feds were brought in, because that's why they were, there was, fireworks being thrown in, rocks, bottles off. Portland police officers were being injured. The building was being, graffitied. The elk statue, they took away the actual elk, but now it is leveled, that whole water fountain. A lot of damage downtown. And, there's one side that says it doesn't matter. If you break the windows at the Nike store on MLK, which we saw the other day, doesn't matter. Nike will be fine. This is how we get our point across, no justice, no peace. Then you have the other side saying you can't, no one's listening to your message anymore, whatever that message may be. That side is saying, because you're now doing criminal acts and you're hurting police officers and their families are terrified every morning, or night when they have to go to work. So we're seeing those two sides.
Absolutely. I was going to say, in addition to that, because we went out and we talked to some of the protesters, Maggie Vespa has been covering the protests downtown for us. Real quick, let's play a little of that sound.
Do you feel like that energy has, people are aware of that tonight and things have changed?
People are definitely happy. We've had the doctors out. I mean, you can just look and see it's awesome. The feeling is euphoric. So everyone's definitely happy about this.
They're not leaving. They're not leaving.
I feel like it's just putting that out to appease everybody.
It's political now, so it's just going to go on and on and on and on and on. Now it's less, and that's what's sad, because as a black man, it's become less about black people and about all the other around it.
Well, here's a question that, and Brenda and I were kind of asking this out loud, because I really don't know, is why ever in the first place was the federal courthouse and the courtrooms that are inside of it and the jail that's inside of that building, why is that a target for protesters? If they're upset with police, if they want police defunding, the police are on the other side of the building. Mm-hmm. That's not even the entrance that is to the police department. So I don't understand how that kind of became a focal point. And then, Drew, I know you and I have been talking about this, I just wonder, protesters are going down to that site. They're going down to where the conflict is, to where the federal officers are. Federal officers aren't walking around in my neighborhood. They're not walking around 5-10 blocks away from there. So if you're going to that area,
I think what you're saying is you can avoid the federal police. Right? I manage to avoid them every night because I'm not down there. But that doesn't, not to say whether that's right or wrong, but I think...
And you can protest anywhere else peacefully.
I'm glad you asked the question about why the federal courthouse is a target, and only because there are people watching us right now in the hundreds that may have an answer that you and I and Brenda don't have. Meanwhile, I'm trying to sift through all these responses.
Rhonda says because it's a symbol. But is it police? Because that's on the, it's a different...
Right.
Yeah, but I think she's probably right. It's like the media. That was one of the reasons that I came back here instead of doing my job down at Pioneer Courthouse Square. Not because anybody necessarily had anything against me, but the media is a symbol.
Sure.
That big window down there. I mean, I think the same for this. It's a symbol of the things that they think are wrong with society. Not that it's the police proper or it's on the other side of the building. That the entrance. I think she's probably right.
Yeah.
There are so many comments. I feel it's fair to try to get to as many as we can because so many people are chiming in on this. I actually screen grabbed. The feed is moving so quickly. I just took a quick capture here. Zachary Johnson says it will become more calm when the police are defunded. Brandy Gregg says our local leadership is useless right now. Willie Huey says I felt like it would calm down. It only fanned the flames when the federal police officer showed up. That was Willie Huey, who I know comments a lot on our stream. We always say you can text us your comments. There's the number on the screen, 503-226-5088. I bring that up because someone did text us their thoughts this morning. The only downside is you never get a name or where this person is from. But
yeah, let us know your name.
Viewer X says getting rid of federal officers might open the door for more protesters to do more damage to the federal building. These people don't care, this viewer says, about the money that is being wasted on their stupidity.
And John says, to answer Nina's question, his take is a place of justice that hasn't delivered justice.
Okay. Thank you so much. I actually really appreciate that answer. I was just seeing if there was any new tweets by anyone, but when everyone says, okay, nothing will happen until you defund police, what was the city council voted to take away? Was it 20 or 30% of the budget, or was it 15% or 15? Yeah. All these stories are running together, you guys, and like for me to just try and keep it in front of my mind is so hard. I just want to know, when you say defund the police, I know there's so many meanings to that that people have. My producer Celeste just said they defunded it by $15 million. They're going to take away from the Portland Police Bureau to help these like street response teams for homelessness and mental health issues. And they're taking away the police school resource officers out of schools. And they're taking away the gun violence reduction team and, redistributing those officers. Obviously, they will still investigate the many shootings that we have seen increasing in the past couple of weeks. But what does it mean? You guys who are saying that, defunding police, what does it mean to you? Does that mean no more police at all? Because you can't do that, right?
I thought the question you were going to ask, Nina, and maybe you were sort of getting to this, was what is it going to take to appease the protesters?
Right. And and you were reading the comment of like, it's going to take defunding the police. Well, what does that mean to you? Does that mean no more police, period? Does that mean further than $15 million? I just would like to know a concrete number so we can kind of like aim towards figuring that out and getting those sides together.
Rhonda says reform in all caps the police, do not defund.
Okay.
Let's see. Christopher Derrick, good morning to you, says the state police will be worthless. I am very interested to hear Wheeler speak this morning at 10 o'clock. We're going to be carrying that press conference at 10 a.m. on KGW.com. But what is the plan? Because I think, again, no inside knowledge, I think this will stay at least until the election. And maybe
then
longer.
What's going to happen, right?
And maybe longer.
Right.
I'm just saying I don't see those protesters, whether they be peaceful or not, leaving that area anytime soon.
I'm with you. If you're talking about a finish line to the protest, the November election seems like that would be a finish line. But then I don't know if another race, so to speak, starts back up.
Protest to go to that site where police of some kind, city, county, state, federal, are.
The people who are down there would say yes.
Yeah.
I was fascinated, though. Let's take it away from the violent people, the people who are shooting the fireworks and climbing on the fence and whatever.
That's who I have a problem with.
Right.
Absolutely. But I am just amazed at the number of people, like the Wall of Moms and the lawyers and pick a thing. There are so many people down there who are saying, I've never done this before, but I feel compelled to do this in a peaceful way. Even though they're, near the courthouse, they're not actively taking part in the violence. And I think that's what's going to be really hard to kind of control, because there is no leadership of the protesters. They're kind of mixing it up among themselves, like, don't start this fire. Yeah, we want to start this fire. Don't do this. We think it should be that way. And it really is kind of this strange, group dynamic that one element will do one thing and another will try and reverse it.
Yeah.
It's
I'm getting, we've been hearing from people, who have been coming from suburbs, and coming downtown, and then, they're very upset, or they get hurt, unfortunately, and they weren't the ones that threw anything or did any kind of crime or criminal act, or maybe they didn't follow a lawful order, which the police warn, if you're not following what we're telling you, there is going to be use of force and you could possibly get hurt. But I'm saying if you are going down to that site and you know that that is near a 100% possibility that you, A, could get hurt, you could get, I mean, when people are running or any kind of thing, you could get hurt and you're a peaceful protester. Stay in your suburb and peacefully protest there. Create a movement. Get us to bring our camera to where you are instead of going down and finding trouble. And then you're in this crowd of you are who you hang out with. And if there's, you know, troublemakers, and there definitely are there every single night who just want to fight, then you get lumped in with that group when it's pitch black and those cops are saying you need to leave right now, and if you don't, we're launching tear gas. You can't be upset almost that you got tear gassed, I think, when you're in a mob of people like that.
I think it's an excellent point. I just want to let our viewers know, how do we decide to talk about this topic? Well, we decided before we even knew about the activity that was happening downtown this morning, right? Before the sun came up this morning.
Yeah, this is a live picture of the park.
There you go. We decided to make this a topic of conversation really based on the events yesterday where Governor Kate Brown came out and said, in really a matter-of-fact, point-blank statement, I demanded that the federal officers leave, and now they are. And then the White House, of course, came back and said, no, we're not. Not yet anyway. Not until we see the changes downtown that we said we needed to see all along. And I just wanted to give credit to a viewer this morning, Maureen Eldon, who's chiming in on the Facebook live stream. And I think she sort of summed it up pretty clearly. She says Governor Brown is misleading in her statement that the feds are leaving. The argument or the agreement was that they will leave when no longer needed, and Oregon State and local police are able to protect those federal buildings. She says this misleading statement yesterday by the governor will only lead to more problems. It's definitely led to some confusion.
Right.
Right, because the people that want the federal agents gone say we won't change until they're gone. And then those on the sides of the feds say, well, the feds aren't leaving until there's change.
How do you get off that phone call between the governor and, whoever she's talking with, and they both have completely different opposite, statements after that?
Isn't that the bigger picture? I know we have to go, but isn't that the bigger point?
Yeah.
Is that we talk to each other, we just talk at each other.
Yeah.
We don't talk with each other. And some of that is politics and spin. Right?
Oh, for sure.
Because it's what you want to put out there. I mean, I saw the governor all over cable news last night, and I was like, wow, I read that statement, and that's not exactly what it said. I mean, it's pretty clear.
Yes. They're
like, if you do this, then we'll leave. Otherwise, not.
Yeah. Very interesting. So Ted Wheeler talking today at 10, and he's been all over, New York Times and CNN in recent days, so we'll see what he says. The city council, looking at another citizens kind of review board style. The story at 6 o'clock, our nightly newscast has been doing a great job really delving deep into this and talking to people about it. So we appreciate you guys tuning in. I know this is a heavy topic. It's great that we can all speak to each other in this format. We'll see you tomorrow.